What's up, world? We're back. It's Movie Showdowns. We're about to do Get Out spoiler review from A to B. And I can't think much else to say. We're about to do a spoiler review, so let's check it out. Hey guys, thank you for coming back to the episode of Get Out movie / spoiler review. This is a spoiler review episode. I don't know why I just stuttered over that. Khalisah is still here. My mom had to leave, and so now just two of us, Khalisah and I, are about to go break down this movie from A to B. You know, start to finish, the whole Get Out, the whole thing. Thank you guys for watching. Let's get into it. So, Get Out. It starts off with Andre walking down the street, and like he's about to, he's not going on a date.
He's lost.
Yeah, he's lost. He's looking for this girl. Like,
was that what he was doing?
yeah, he's lost. He's on the phone trying to call her and everything. He's walking down.
He was going to a friend's house or something.
He's going to her, meeting her up with a date, something like that, and going to her place, something like that. And the car starts following behind him, and he's like, notice it. Like, I don't have time for this. Starts to turn around, and the door's open to the car, but you don't see anybody step out. All of a sudden, you see him getting attacked by some guy, pretty much put to sleep, and getting dragged. And that's the opening to the movie.
He was abducted.
Abducted, yes. So, we start off at Chris's place after they played the song Redbone by Childish Gambino. By Childish Gambino. Redbone, which is a phenomenal song, by the way. They play this song
in the opening. Didn't they play that creepy song?
Yeah, before they got to that part, they showed like the whole cast and everything, and just like they look at the woods playing that Freaky Lisa. I don't know what they're saying. I don't know what they're saying.
So creepy.
But
I have nightmares about that.
And then it cuts to Chris at his place, and it's showing like his pictures and everything, and he's getting ready while listening to Redbone pretty much. And they show him Rose at the coffee shop, and they meet up at Chris' place, talking a little bit, you know, just what normal people things, just talking, chatting. And Rose is like, yeah, get ready for this weekend. And Chris is like, do they know I'm black? And she's like, would I have to tell him this? He's like, well, I'm the first black guy you dated. You kind of should. But Rose is like, it'll be okay.
The first black guy.
So they cut to another, well, actually not really another scene. They just show him driving up to the parents' house, and Rose and Chris are talking and stuff like that. They get a phone call from Rod. TSA. This is when Rod gets introduced, and he's just saying like, you know, just once again more normal people. This movie has a lot of normal people stuff in it. It's nothing really too crazy going on. But Rose hit a deer. She hit a deer.
It was very random.
Just random.
It was very random.
Which also, there's two things in the movie. That deer scene kind of reminds me of another scene that's later in the movie. And Rose said something in the beginning of the movie. She says this: "My dad's not gonna be somebody who'll run you off the yard with a shotgun." But it's funny because that scene kind of comes back into play later in the movie. You know, the character doesn't have a shotgun; they have a rifle, but the scene's still there. But anyway, Rose hit a deer. They go check on it, make sure there's no damage, and police officer comes and get a report, but he wants the ID of Chris. And Rose is like standing up for Chris, as we think she's standing up for Chris, and saying like, no, officer, you don't need his stuff. You just need my stuff. Only one driving. He's not driving. You don't need his information. The officer's not gonna try to fight. Chris is kind of sitting back watching, and the officer's like, okay, just have a good day, get your stuff fixed, and he leaves. Like
But really,
he takes his L.
She was covering her tracks. Because she didn't want nobody to know this is where Chris was going to go.
So they finally get to Chris's, or not Chris's, but Rose's family place. That's when you meet the whole Armitage family from, get my laptop guy, sorry. Sorry, I had this over here, but I did move it around. We reset up. But you meet Dean Armitage, Jeremy. Well, you don't meet Jeremy yet. You meet Dean and Missy. They're sitting there waiting. But as Chris is driving up, he notices a black guy who is like the groundskeeper, who's giving like the most weirdest look, and that's played by Marcus Henderson, who plays Walter. Walter's the groundsman, and he kind of like gives a nod. No, he kind of just stares Chris down. Chris is like, what's going on here? This is weird. So you get over that scene. They meet the family. Dean is like super happy to meet everybody. He's like, oh my gosh, you're such a cool guy, and just show him around.
Stereotypical white dad is what he played for that part. I like to barbecue, me and my family. Like, it was the stereotypical white person's dad is what he played for them meeting. You don't see that? When people, like...
He did hear a lot of things, like
stereotypical white dad, with the sweater tied over the shoulders with the khakis on. That's how I feel like he was portrayed going into it.
Stereotypical. I guess
like he was trying to be
Hollywood
cool
version.
too. Yeah, like when you see
that version of movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what.
He wasn't wearing that. He's more like a black. He's wearing a turtleneck. Yeah, I give you that. He wore a turtleneck and
nice pants.
Seemed like I'm hip.
Yeah.
I'm down.
The stereotype.
Like that's how the vibe he gave, and he was trying to show Chris. Like my granddad, my dad lost to Jesse Owens, and he's like, I would have voted.
Almost got over it.
Right, I would have voted for Obama 3 times I could. Like,
no, I would have voted for Obama 3 times if I could. Like, it's like stereotypical. I don't know.
Like, there's no race issue here. Like, we're good. We're fresh. We're homies.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's what Dean did. Missy, on the other hand, she was more like, hello, let's.
More reserved and quiet.
Yeah, like let's kind of get this over with. Rose is like happy and everything. Like, my guys, my parents are such dorks. That girl.
He's such a dark. Oh my gosh.
That girl, like
again, stereotypical daughter of a stereotypical dad.
Yeah, yeah. Like, oh my gosh, my parents are so dorky.
He's so lame. Like,
and Chris is kind of like, yeah, all right, it's cool. Like, he just like his vibe is like, yeah, all right. And show around the house and everything. That's when you first see Georgina. And she's the maid, pretty much. She's played by Betty Gabriel, and she's kind of like acting odd and funny. It's almost like Georgina and Walter to see Chris and like, what are you doing here? Kind of like, you don't belong here, kind of deal. That kind of vibe I got from them when they saw, the characters. Maybe it was like, yeah, it was like you don't belong here. Because remember the subconsciousness, you learn in a movie when somebody get taken over, the subconsciousness is still there. They're probably trying to tell Chris, like, they want to say, like, dude, leave. Don't be here.
Get out.
But they can't. So, they just kind of go around the grounds place, and they're out getting tea. And Georgina's pouring tea for everybody, but something happened, like something triggers. And this is when we first see Missy's like ability to hypnotize. Like, she immediately stops Georgina, like, Georgina, do you need to take a nap? Yes, I do need to take a nap. And kind of move on from there. So you see Georgina kind of acting funny. Chris is like, this don't seem right. But maybe it's not as bad as I think it is. And
Rose tries to cover up the fact that her mom snapped on Georgina. Because remember, she was like, yeah, it's weird that she snapped on her. Like, she was trying to explain it and, like, cover it up. Like,
oh, okay, the hypnotist thing?
When she was pouring the tea, and she snapped on her, so I don't know if Chris brought it up. I should have watched this movie because it's been a minute since I watched it. But I don't know if Chris brought it up and she tried to cover it up or what it was. I don't know if she brought it up.
It wasn't this scene, yeah. Chris does bring up something about Georgina, but not at this point.
No, it was because she was like, I don't know why she would snap on her like that. That was weird.
Yeah, and Chris was like,
He was like, oh, it's cool.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
He just kept, oh, it's cool, the whole movie.
So he's like, don't worry about it. So the next scene. Yeah, that's why I paused. I saw a girl coming up.
So this girl in holler about pop, so I guess that's what she's talking about. One more coming in?
I don't know.
Okay, let's just
What
ask
you
her.
think with this can? Ain't nothing in there.
You got the
Yeah,
pop.
just
All right, Mom, you can take it.
Omar is coming up. No, he's not. Yeah, he's outside.
You got the
No, he's
pop.
not. No, he drove off.
So he just be coming, staying the weekends or something?
No. I guess he back here.
Hmm?
I guess he back here.
What
Live
you
in
mean?
Kentucky.
He moving to Kentucky?
No, I think he was working in Kentucky.
What?
Like he has a sticker on the side of his car. It's like he works. Like he's.
In Kentucky?
I guess he does business everywhere, like housing construction. So I don't know.
I'm confused.
So the next scene, yeah, Rose and Chris do have a conversation. They kind of like, you know,
Sweep it under the rug. Oh,
Yeah.
it's okay, whatever.
we missed something too. This is a really big deal too. It's the fact that Chris smokes cigarettes,
Mm-hmm.
and it happened early in the car, and it comes again. This is at the lunch. Actually before they sweep it under the rug, what's his name shows up. Jeremy shows up, the brother, and sitting at the table talking at dinner. But before we get to that scene, Chris has a smoking habit. Chris is like nervously like clicking on the table, and he get called out like, Chris, do you smoke? That's what Dean asked. And he's like, there's a habit I'm trying to drop, and Macy's like, I can get rid of that for you. And they're like, no, you don't have to. You don't have to do that. That's what Rose was talking to him about, like the fact that she can get into his head. He's like, no, like it's okay. He's like why my mom would try to do that to people? Like she knows she can't run around a stranger's head. But yeah, and that's when Georgina comes over, pours because she hears about the conversation about hypnotism, and that's when she's like trying to like come out and say, hey, no, don't do this, leave it alone, get out. But she can't say anything, but she wants to, and that's when she spills the tea. But Dean and Missy said they can cure Chris of his smoking habit by going underneath hypnotism, which makes me wonder, is Missy hypnotize Dean, or that's just a ploy for Dean to just say like, give her this?
It's the ploy.
Okay. So Jeremy shows up, so hey, there's a party where he answers the door, what's going on? And cut to the dinner scene where Jeremy's kind of like drinking, but he's also like evaluating Chris too. Like he's trying to figure out Chris, like
Play sports.
what kind of story he likes. Like he's telling a story about Rose and a drinking story and stuff like that, and just kind of like trying to feel Chris's vibe. Then he asks him, Dean asks he's into sports, like football, and like fight. Do you fight? Jeremy's like, do you fight? He's like, Chris goes, UFC? He's like, yeah, that kind of stuff. And Chris like, nah, I didn't do that, but I do know judo. I learned as a kid back in the day. And Dean's like, with your body structure, your physique, you can be a beast. Just be like, a monster. And Jeremy trying to put Chris in a headlock, and everybody's like, no, leave him alone. Chris like, I'm not trying to play with the drunk at the table. Like, leave me alone kind of deal. And Jeremy's like, okay, he backs off after everybody kind of, no. His mom gave him a stern look. Which also makes me wonder, like, they try to make it like the mom was the bad guy in this movie. Like, she was, like, hypnotizing everybody. She wasn't. Like, she just knows their triggers. And, because she's a psychiatrist, so she knows their triggers. She knows what people react to. She knows people. And she was kind of like just saying, hey, no, this is not the time nor the place. You're like, okay. He takes his drink and leaves. That's when Rose and Chris had a conversation about the whole day and everything. And throughout the night, they fall asleep. Throughout the night, Chris gets up for a cigarette break, cigarette smoke, walks out the back door, about to let a smoke, and all of a sudden he sees somebody running towards him. And he's like, what is happening? One, if I was Chris, I would not be sitting there watching some person run up on me like full speed ahead. I wouldn't be sitting like, oh gosh. No.
What is this guy doing?
Yeah. Walter's running towards Chris and like takes a complete left turn on him. Chris like, okay, and he turns around and sees Georgina in the window looking at herself.
She's fixing her hair, which is actually covering up the scar on her forehead.
So Chris like freaked out. He's like, okay, I'm gonna go inside. No, I don't need to smoke. I'm done. I'm done with this. Like, I was not ready for today. Walks inside the house, the light comes on, and it's Missy sitting down in her psychiatrist chair, asking Chris to take a seat. Not Chris Hansen like, but just take a seat. Chris like, Chris like, I don't want to. She's like, take a seat. So he goes sit down anyway, and they get a conversation about smoking, and she already got the hypnotist thing going on, and he's like, I'm trying to drop the habit, and she was like, tell me about your mom. He's like, I want to talk about my mom, and she starts doing the tea in the spoon in the cup with the tea in it. Started doing the hypnotist thing, and Chris is like, starts giving her information about his mom and where he was the day she died, and the sounds and everything. And she's like, do you hear rain? And he's like, yeah. And she's like going in detail. Chris is like getting really uncomfortable. He's like, you can't leave. He's like, I can't move. He's trying to leave. He's like, I can't move. And she keeps talking to him, and he keeps going back to that moment. And she goes, now sink. And he drops. His mental self drops into like this vastness of like a void, and you see Chris kind of like floating, and he's trying to like stop from happening. Like he doesn't really know what's going on at this point. He's just floating like what's happening, but he see Missy through like a little TV screen looking down at him, and she's like, you're in the sunken place. And did she say now sleep, or she just like closes his eyes?
She said no sleep or something.
And Chris is like yelling, like, no. He wakes up
In the bed.
Which,
So he thinks it's all a dream.
yeah, he's like, this isn't happening. This is not real. Kind of like, he kind of forgot about it. And
He told Rose. No wait, that was later, wasn't it?
yeah, I think he was like,
I think your mom hypnotized me.
yeah, he's kind of
Was
just.
that later?
No, it was the same scene, like kind of running by. But no, I think it was later. I think he just had to talk to her, like, no, yeah, it was later. We just talked to her, and it's like, oh, the people are coming, the family gathering kind of thing. And he saw the cars roll up, but Chris kind of wandered off on his own, kind of, is it this thing, or they go meet people first?
They go meet people.
They go meet people first, and everybody's kind of like looking at Chris like a prize kind of deal. Like all these older people looking at him, like,
Show me your form.
show me form with golfing. Cause one guy kind of want a golfer body, so he can know how to golf. And Chris like, I don't golf one time. Another lady's looking at him like as a placement for her husband, who's pretty much on death's bed. Like he has a tube attached to him and everything, but he's she's like looking for like a body for him. And she's like, does it work? Like, how good is his body? Another guy's like, it's cool to be in style. It's cool to be black. Black is back. And Chris is like, what the WTH?
Yeah.
Before that, though, Chris does walk around the house. He tried to take a picture of Georgina, but he didn't get a picture. It's a landscaping kind of deal. And then he sees Walter and goes and talks to Walter. And Walter's like acting funny to him. Like, says, oh, that Rose, she's a doggone keeper.
That was way before though.
Yeah, no, that's after the night of, cause Walter mentioned was why Chris reminds him, like Walter mentioned, like, you was in Mrs. Armitage psychiatry room last night. There for a long time. Chris was like,
Yeah.
what? Sorry guys, we're kind of jumping over the place here, cause like almost every scene's kind of, hate to say it, kind of interchangeable. Like they kind of mix together, weave in together, cause all the same scene, when walking around kind of deals. But yeah, so Chris tells Rod first about this hypnotized thing. I think wasn't they trying to hypnotize me?
And of course, that's where the comic relief comes in.
Mm-hmm. Rod's like, oh, sex slaves, stuff like this. That's what white people do, take black people, make them sex slaves, and gets all out there over the top. Chris is like, alright, not technology, this is a bad mistake. Tells Rose about it, and Rose is like, why my mom would do that? I'm so sorry. Anytime Chris like, anytime I look at a cigarette now, I just want to throw up. I think your mom hypnotized me. Say, I'm so sorry, why should you keep doing that? And that's when the group of people come in. And that's where it leads us to everybody's talking to Chris and everything like that. And when that one guy said Chris is like black is back and style, something like that, Chris like walks off, just like, can't deal with this. And he runs into, where is he at? Stephen Root's character, Jim Hudson, who's a blind art dealer. And Hudson's like, everybody's all ignorant, they're stupid, stuff like that. And Chris kind of like, what do you know? And he's like, I'm Jim Hudson. And Chris is like, he knows who Jim is. He's like, oh wow, you the really good art dealer. Wow, that's awesome. And Chris is like, and Jim like, Chris, you got a good eye, man. You really good eye. It's some beautiful stuff there. So they have a little conversation. But Chris goes back walking around after they get done talking, go back walking around. And then he sees Andrew. Andre, my bad. Andre, not Andrew. Sorry, guys. Sees Andre. He's like, oh, there's another black guy here. They go talk to him.
What's up, brother? Hello, how are you?
Right? It's the most awkward conversation ever. And Andre's mom shows up and kind of like, his mom, god dang it. The lady could be as old as his mom. But it's his wife, because Andre's actually been taking over. But we don't know that yet.
But see, my thing is, the only thing they should have at least told us was whether or not Andre escaped. Because now, for the rest of my life, I'm going to have to think that Andre's still in the sunken place.
He is.
I don't know.
He's not going to escape. Like, I don't know who else, because there's a bunch of people too.
Right.
But anyway, Chris is like, alright, he's really weirded out at this point. He's like, I can't deal with this anymore. I'm not ready for this weekend. He goes upstairs, notices his phone's unplugged. And he's like, why my phone unplugged? He looks around and sees Georgina. He's like, I think Georgina's unplugging my phone. He calls Rod and tells Rod, hey, I saw Andrew, this guy here, kind of acting weird, stuff like that. Then he also tells Rose that I think Georgina's unplugging my phone, stuff like that. Conversations, more talking. We're not doing this movie injustice right now.
It's really just one you gotta see.
Right? Like, you're going through the movie of it, and it's like, man, it's a lot of setup, a lot of...
Just like...
Man, like, scene after scene after scene. So, after Chris gets done talking to Rod, he tried to get a picture of Andrew. Oh, God dang it, Andre. Try to get a picture of Andre, and...
The flash was on. Yeah,
the flash is on. They go downstairs talking, the flash is on, and Andre flips. This is where the movie kind of picks up from here, and really, like, just... It's not the climax. It gets to it, and it's like... It went from a really, like, slow pickup movie to a movie that went boom, and now we're driving off. Cause, like, before you get to a lot of character development, a lot of stuff, a lot of people talking. She's like, my mom's like, it kind of has some slow points. Like, Act 1, and this is really the end of Act 2. It is a solid, like, you gotta be really gonna watch this movie, don't have any distractions kind of deal, because there's a lot of stuff that gets picked up in here. But when the flash goes off and Andre loses his mind, because
his nose starts bleeding.
The real Andre comes back from some cautions. But something, why does a flash have that effect? You think there are a lot of people who, especially with that day and age, a lot of flashes would be going off now. Because this is like a recent movie. It's not like the movie set is present day. It's not like it's, 1990s. I swear, Andre probably just happened all the time. To be honest, that's why they stay in that area. They don't roam out. But Andre like finds Chris like, get out, dude, don't be here. What are you doing? And Chris like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Like, he's grabbing Chris. Chris is like, get off me, man. He's like, get out, and they pull Andre off of Chris and take him to the psychiatrist's room. A few moments later, Andre comes out like, sorry guys, I seem to have lost my lid there. Not sure exactly what he said. Just going with what it sounds like. I think it was rather kind of crazy. I hope you guys just mind me getting dismissed. I'm walking out with my wife, who's like twice my age. No big deal.
That was a very bad impression, but you get the point. Anywho, he apologizes. He said he's gonna leave, so him and his wife leave, and then we go into the whole Chris and Rose are about to go for a walk, and that's when the auction takes place at the house. So
it's a picture, pretty much a picture of Chris sitting there, and they're like auctioning him off and everything. And Chris is like, I think I want to go home. I don't want to be here anymore. And Rose and Chris having an argument, stuff like that. And then Chris says he loves her. And mind you, they've been dating for 4 months.
which, to be honest, is long enough to tell if you love somebody or not. If you living with them and you spend every day with them, I think 4 months is a substantial amount of time. But
Which, I don't know, they wasn't living together. They wasn't doing that. They known each other. Like
they were living together.
No.
Why were they packing bags at the same time?
Probably because she just spent the night over there. Just like didn't want to go home and get her stuff.
I guess they never disclosed whether. I could have swore they were living. So where was she living? Because she didn't have an apartment or nothing. And she wasn't living at her parents' house.
We don't know that. Like, they moved here and disclosed it. Like, but it's obviously this is Chris's place, and like there's nothing else in there that would show that Rose is in the house with him. Like, they don't have pictures up or anything. Like, this is like Chris's house, apartment. So like I wouldn't expect them living together.
Well, I just took it that they lived together because they both packing bags at the same time. They're both going to meet the parents.
Cause you think he would have met the parents before that point, before he would say I loved you. You know, kind of stuff like that would have been.
I don't know. I guess it depends on.
Unless they're trying to pull out some like
certain circumstances. But.
Right. Unless you're trying to say like relationships today move so fast and everything. Like it's very. Like, I'm saying that. I don't know. So Chris and so Rose is like, I got him pretty much at this point, and they go back to
the house.
Yeah.
It's dark by now.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was gonna get got because it was dark, but people are leaving when they are approaching the door, and one of them says something. What does he say? The big fat guy who was like trying to get him for golfing. Or no, the one that said that black was in style. He said something on the way out the door, and the parents and the brother are just kind of standing at the doorstep, like waiting for them to come back.
And pretty much go to the next scene.
Oh. Yeah.
Huh?
No.
Go to the next scene, and Chris and Rose both pack, get ready to leave and everything. Chris is going to get out, and Rose leaves the room, but for some reason she leaves her door open, like her closet door open, and leaves a box there. Maybe Georgina did it. I don't know.
Somebody went in there and forgot to close it all the way.
Doesn't make sense, but the door is open. Chris looks at the door, and looks into the room, and then he finds a box. And then goes down a list. I think it's Rose who did it because like it's like her way of saying like you've been caught, dude. This is it. Game over. You lost. And like she's just showing before you know what's gonna happen here. Before the events about to come. This was the list of people I've met. This is people I have captured. This is people I have made them into transportation pods. These are people I went out and scoped and not Renaissance. What's the word I'm looking for? Reconnaissance? I think that's the word.
Sure. Yeah, so basically Walter and Georgina are both in these pictures.
There's like 20 people, at least.
But he was the first black guy she had dated. But I don't know if Georgina was her friend or
no, that's her wife. They was married. Okay, there's a picture. Georgina has a ring, and Rose had a ring on her left hand. In the picture, I seen it twice.
Okay,
3 times
well,
actually at this point.
I just assumed they were best friends, and then she, did what she did. But I guess they're married. And Walter, she dated him. It was multiple black guys, though, she had kidnapped, I guess. And then, so he finds the box, and he's like, so I'm thinking at this point, he's thinking that Rose doesn't know, like, what's going on, but she's kind of, like, hypnotized by her mom, too. That's what I'm thinking at this point, because after he's seen the box, he's like, Rose, we got to get out of here. So I don't think he thought that she was in on it. So, yeah. So he goes downstairs with the bags, and Jeremy's waiting at the door. He got something. What is in his hand?
Like a golf club, something like that. It's like,
He had some type of weapon in his hand that he was going to use as a weapon. And he's waiting on Rose to get the keys so he can put the bags in the car. And she's rummaging through her bag. And at this point,
very much like everybody's telling, like, Chris, you can't leave. Like, this is not going to happen. And Chris is like, I don't got time for this. Just want to leave.
So
I don't got
like,
time for this. Rose, give me the keys.
Yeah.
Rose, give me the keys. Rose like, I don't know. I can't find them. Rose, give me the keys. She's like, after about 2 or 3 minutes, she's like, I can't give you these. You know I can't give you these. Like,
the keys, right?
Like, this is over.
Like,
you're done.
Range
Rose is the worst of all. Like, she is the worst cunning. She is the bad guy. Like, she is probably one of the most evil bad guys to ever portray in a movie scene. Like,
so at this point, he drops the bags. He's like, all right, this is how it's gonna go down.
Right? I think he charges at Jeremy, but they get him, and she charges Jeremy. They fight it, and the mom goes, sink. She has the tea.
No, she clicks the thing.
Yeah, she clicks the tea, or the spoon gets the teacup.
And he just drops.
And Jeremy's like, oh man, that's something like that. Like,
yeah,
do you see the way he dropped? Oh my gosh! Like,
yeah.
So, Chris is once again in the sunken place, and he's falling, and he sees all this going on, and he's just reaching up, trying to stop it, but he can't stop because he's just falling and falling and falling.
Mm-hmm. And
then he cut back to Rod. And he's like, pretty much trying to figure out what's going on.
No, wait, we missed the part because they take him downstairs and they tie him up. And Rose goes, "You know you were my favorite, right?" And then after that, we go to Rod.
Meanwhile, Rod is talking to the detective for the apartment. He's like, "Hey, I have a friend. He's missing." They don't really believe him. Rod kind of throws this comment out here like, you know, TSA is better detectives than you guys are, but we're not going to throw this back on. That's another conversation for here and there. So there's a little thing.
Did he call Rose first?
He didn't call Rose because he called Rose later.
So how he knew he was missing?
Huh?
How he knew he was missing?
It's been 2 days. He hasn't heard anything from Chris. Chris usually calls, check on the dog and everything. He hadn't heard anything from Chris. He's like, okay.
I thought he had called her first.
No, he calls her later.
Yeah, I know he did call her later, but I didn't.
No, he didn't call her yet. So he goes to the detectives, and he throws this comment out here which is going to come in handy. And he's like, yeah, TSA is better detectives than actual detectives, but I'm not going to, that's another conversation for here and there. And he tells the whole situation. They laugh him off. So, all right. He's like, he goes back trying to figure out stuff. Meanwhile, Chris is in a chair, and there's a TV in front of him. It pretty much explains everything. It explains what they are. The granddad, or not, Rose's granddad, created this system to try to like transplant people from other bodies to more suitable bodies that last longer, they're stronger, and everything. And getting the whole rundown behind what they are, the society, the order, as they call it, the coagula, all this stuff. And it's pretty much what he is and what's about to happen to him. And Chris can't really move, but his nervous tick from smoking is still infected. So he's picking at this chair, like he's in a cotton chair like this, and he's picking at it. And every time they get done talking to him, they tell him to go back to sleep, back into the sunken place. Switch back over to Rod. Rod calls Rose because Rose is stupid enough to answer Chris's phone. Like, picks up Chris's phone pretty much.
She wasn't stupid though. She knew what she was doing. If I didn't answer the phone, it would look suspicious. But since I'm gonna answer the phone, I'm gonna act like everything's okay. He left 2 days ago.
Left his phone, and Chris but Ross started asking her like, what did he take? What cab service? And that's when Rose kind of get knocked off her guard, like, oh, I didn't expect this one coming. And he's like, oh, he took an Uber. I don't know. He's like, and this is where Ryan messed up. I don't understand why he did it. He puts her on hold so he can start recording her, and she gets her
Story
together because she's sitting there waiting. Like, it's funny in this scene. Rose closes her eyes. Like, after he put her on hold, Rose like this, and she closes her eyes. Like, took a deep breath there. I just kind of watched it a few moments ago for doing this review, so that's why I kind of like get the details like that in. But yeah, she closed her eyes and like get her story together. She get her, what's the word I'm looking for? Herself together, like
her alibi.
No, not her alibi. Herself together. Like when you like somebody shake you up, you like you're not together. You're like rattled and everything.
Get yourself together.
Yeah, she got herself together, and then when Rod started to talk again and started asking about Chris, she's like, Rod, you knew you always wanted me. You knew you wanted this. You knew you wanted that. And her family's like in the background listening to this, which I thought was really weird.
It's
like,
very awkward, very gross.
Yeah. And Rod's like, no, man, what's this? Bleep you. Ah, I'm done. He hangs up.
Talk about Chris. And the funny thing is, okay, so if you watch beauty YouTubers, then you know Alyssa Forever. That's her dad. Is that funny? That's funny. That's just, yeah, okay.
So, you go cut back to Chris. Jim Hudson appears on the screen, tells him like, hey man, the reason why you chose, I don't want that got you. The reason I chose you because your eyes, man, with your eyes. And Chris was like, why black people? And Jim's like, I don't know, because people think they're in style, think they're better, stuff like that.
He said, why not?
Huh?
Did he not say why?
No, he's because to him he's like I'm Hispanic, white, black, Asian. Like I don't care. He's like with you though, I want your eyes, man. You got a really keen eye for art. I want your eyes. Which I was thinking to myself, hold up, he wants his eyes, but because it's Chris has his brain to what sees everything. His brain's the one that's going to pick it up. When you take Chris's brain out and just leave that certain part in there, can you leave a part of your brain left so you can still function right? You take your whole brain out, your body's done. But you take the part attached to your nervous system, so that way you can still function and everything. And then they put their brain on top of your piece to connect together, and that's where that person is doing everything. But Chris will see his subconscious is still there, but he's not there to fully take over. So I was sitting there thinking like, Jim, your eye wasn't as good. I mean, your eyes would be still the same crappy eyes you have. Just the fact you just won't be blind anymore. Your artwork, your art taste will still be horrible. Like, I don't know. that's one thing I was thinking is like your art taste still be horrible. So Chris realized he's been not picking cotton. I guess that's a synonym for it, but he's picking the cotton out the chair. And before the thing cuts off, he plugs in, like somehow gets his hands down to plug in like
the cotton from the
chair into his ear.
So that way when he's hypnotized, he won't hear it, so he's still conscious.
Next thing you cut to is them like getting ready for the operation, get ready to do everything. It's pretty much the end of the movie, guys. Get ready for the operation, get ready to make this thing happen. Jeremy goes and gets Chris,
who was pretending to be unconscious. And then once Jeremy unties his arms and legs, I don't know, I think he's like messing with the IV or something.
Yeah, he turns around and Chris knocks him out with like a metal ball. Piece. Yeah.
And then so he goes from there and goes on to kill the dad. And
cause dad's looking like where's Jeremy at? Mm-hmm. He stabs dad with a deer mount, the antlers, and then he goes upstairs, runs into the mom. Well, we see Georgina first. Georgina runs off, runs to the mom. The mom
because he's bloody at this point. He's beat up at this point. And Georgina screams and then runs off. So I guess that triggered the mom.
The mom sees him, try to get the tea and everything, but Chris smacked the cup out the way. She tried to get a knife and stab him. Chris takes the stab through the middle of the hand. I can just see that saying like, she stabbed you in your hand, and you're not flinching, like what? Oh,
He had enough at this point.
he takes the knife out, just cuts her down.
Stabbed her in the forehead, kept moving.
And then Jeremy appears out of nowhere.
He's about to. What did he do?
About to walk out the door.
But like something stopped him from like going out the door like that.
It was like he was just limping over. He walked around because it's like this house. He's walked around the like the living room area instead of like the kitchen area. Mm-hmm. So he's like gingerly walking towards the door.
So he's walking towards the door. Jeremy comes up because he was only knocked out. We thought he was dead.
Right. How much blood they show,
Right.
It should have been dead.
He comes up from behind and puts him in a chokehold, and the door's like almost open, but Jeremy closes it with his foot, and he drags Chris back, and he has him in a chokehold at this point. And so yeah, they're going back and forth. They're wrestling. Yeah. And so they're just wrestling at this point, and
yeah, they're wrestling really, and then like the knife. Chris still had the knife in his hand.
We missed the part.
What?
Rose is upstairs looking for her next. Is that next?
Yes, it's coming up next. So,
okay.
Chris has a knife in his hand. He stabs Jeremy in his leg, and Jeremy falls to the ground. And Chris just 8-pound stumps him, like just curve stumps this dude in the face, and just takes him out. And you hear that.
Yeah.
And then he picked the keys out. Chris, like Jeremy's keys, he picked them up out of his pocket, and he walks out the door. And this is where he cut to Rose, who's eating cereal, Fruit Loops, and then
has a glass of milk.
And separates them, kind of pretty much like separate colors and whites. And she's eating
she bit into the Fruit Loop.
Yeah, like this.
Like, not like you know, she's a killer.
And she has her headphones in, so that's why she's not hearing everything.
What is she listening to? It's like a generic song, but I can't even think of it.
It's like more like nothing like pop culture. It's like more like a musical, not classical kind of song.
Yeah, but it's a song that everybody knows. I don't even know what it is.
And she's on Bing. Who uses is it Bing? Yeah, she's using Bing to search. I was like, why is she using Bing? I was like, what's that? Like, she's not
advertisement.
Yeah, and she's like looking for D1 college athletes at this point, like basketball players. And I'm like, oh, this girl's psychotic. Also, she also had like all her posters of all her victims pretty much on the back room wall.
Which I'm confused because I'm like, where was this room that she's sitting in? Because that wasn't there.
It's the same room. It's pretty much what she did is she took them all down, and then like when because Chris been out for a while. So,
yeah, but
because the old man, because Jim Hudson had to come back.
So she put him back up, I guess.
Good thing about that, Jim Hudson had to come back because he wasn't just sitting downstairs waiting the whole time. Like he had to come back to the house and everything. So it made sense. Like it took a little time. Chris been there for a while. Did a ride to the car ride. It took a little bit. But she had her victims up like she really savors this. She really loves doing this. Like this is like to her it's another Pokemon catch. That sounds really messed up to put it that way. But it's me getting nerdy. But like it's her next. She's psychotic. She's like probably one of the worst movie villains I've ever seen. Like
it's just scandalous.
Horrible, simply horrible. But she doesn't know what's going on because her headphones in.
Yeah, she has her headphones.
But this is what throws me off. So Chris is driving off, and Georgina runs into the car. She jumps into the car.
No, he hit her on accident.
No, he didn't, because he was calling 911. He's on the phone calling 911, like 911 dispatcher. My name is Chris. I'm at the Armitage, and she has him repeat it. As he's doing that, Georgina kind of watched it. I thought Georgina was just walking by.
I thought she was just running away because she was.
No, it's because the grandma.
Yeah, I know.
The grandma wasn't running away. The grandma was trying to stop him. Yeah. She was trying to stop him. So she jumps into the car, and Chris is like, no.
Shoot, I would have.
No. This is how my mom, because his mom died. His mom got killed through a hit and run early in the movie. That gets shown, he talks about it. So anytime he sees somebody like laying down over the deer, Georgina, it reminds him of his mom. She's like, I can't leave her here.
I know, but at this point, I would just be like, man, I done went through enough. I done got my hand stabbed. I done killed 3 people already. Like, I'm ready to go. Like, I'm ready to go home. She just gonna have to fend for herself. Like, I don't know. Like,
so he goes back, picks her up, and as he's driving, Georgina is come to realize that she's the grandma, and she's like,
and Rose is on the doorstep.
no, Rose hears the thud, which doesn't make sense to me. She hears the thud.
So she's on the doorstep by the time she...
Yeah, with a shot, not a shotgun, she has a rifle, and she's peeking out, see the car driving off, and the grandma wakes up like, you ruined my family.
She was like, get him, grandma.
And she started, no, this is not that scene.
Yes,
She said, get him, grandpa. So, get him, grandpa. Grandpa is Walter.
Where was Walter at?
He's running up. Like, he hasn't came up yet. So, this what happened is Chris gets in an accident because Georgina's attacking, or the grandma is attacking.
So she did shoot at him.
Huh?
When Georgina was in the car.
No, she didn't shoot at him. She looked at him, stopped, because she couldn't shoot. She couldn't aim right. Yeah, I just watched it.
I know, I haven't watched it since February, so.
So, they hit a tree. Georgina's dead. The grandma's dead. Chris gets out the car and he's like, just gonna walk along this road. Gonna walk along. I think Rose is about to shoot at him, but she doesn't.
Misses.
Yeah, she misses. Walter runs out and starts like, get on, grandpa. Walter's chasing him down with the track speed, and Walter grabs her, or grabs Chris, knocks him down, and they're fighting and everything. Rose is coming up, getting ready to make the final kill, but Chris pulls his phone out. By the way, guys, my niece is about to run back into this, giving you guys a heads up. Pulls the phone out, flashes it in Chris's face, or flashes it in Walter's face, and Walter comes back. The grandpa is gone for a moment. Walter's like, let me do it. I'll finish it.
Hold on. What's all these red bumps on her leg?
Trigger
Mosquito
bites.
bites. Mosquito bites.
This big thing right here?
Yes.
Keep my babies out the grass.
You tell your babies to get out the grass.
Like getting them ate up.
Sure, they be rolling around playing and I keep telling them to stop.
Mama, it look like she got chicken pox.
Hey, chiggers, mosquitoes, all them.
Mom, can you make sure Mina goes back over there?
Come on, babe.
So Walter grabs the gun from Rose, pretending he's gonna kill Chris, and he actually shoots Rose in the stomach, knocking her down, and then he reloads the shotgun, or reloads the rifle.
And I'm thinking he finna kill Chris.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, he's still gonna kill Chris, but then he ends up
shooting himself, and like Chris is like, okay, it's over. But then he hears Rose still alive, and he goes over and trying to get ready to kill Rose, but he can't do it. He can't. And that's when you see the police sirens come on, and you're like, dang it, they got him. They got Chris. But no, it's Rod. Rod shows up, and he's like, hey man, I'm here to save you, kind of deal. Chris gets in the car and they kind of like drive off. And I guess you really want to point out, Chris asks, how did you find me? And Rod's like, I'm TSMAMFA. Like, I'm getting my job, pretty much. And they kind of drive off, and that's the end of the movie. I've come to the conclusion how Rod found Chris is that he traced his phone to Rose's place. There's that scene, or he also was listening to 911 dispatcher, and once again traced it, because police officers can trace your phone, trace his phone back to that place as well. Because he did call 911, and he never finished it. And normally when something like that happens, 911 will show up. If you don't if you hang up or something like that, it will come up to your place.
They will call back. And if you don't answer, they gonna show up.
So that's why I was like, oh, he showed up because of that, because he said we're better detectives than what you call it. Also on a note, this is alternative deleted scene. I know you haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it.
You have? Okay. The real police officer shows up, and Chris actually goes to jail, but doesn't want to talk about it. And he's pretty much spent the rest of his life in jail. And I think, as I'm talking,
If they would have made that the real ending,
a lot of people be really angry at this movie.
I would have gave the movie an F. I would have been so mad.
Yeah, like that movie would have like left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. So it's good that Jordan Peele went with the happy ending route instead of like the, oh man, that's messed up, real life route, because yeah, it would have been messed up. It would have been like, well, it shows you, man, can't do anything right. And I remember at the theater, a lot of people was like, oh my gosh, you know, black people finally coming up, black people this and that. I was like, don't make this one movie your moment. Don't do that. Like, don't live your life to a movie. Like, come up yourself in real life and then prove the world. Dang it. I don't know. That's me about to go on a rant.
It was cool watching it in theaters, though, because you could hear people like, oh my God, like, he finna get called by the police. And then, like, when, you know, it was Rod, everybody's like, yeah. Like, you know.
Yeah, it's a breath of fresh air. People was clapping, something like that. Even, Alyssa Williams. Allison Williams. The girl that plays Rose.
Sure.
Sorry, guys. I had her up in the other review, but I think it's Allison. Allison even said she's like certain movie theaters she went to and watched people's reaction. Other people was like, "Oh my gosh, yes, they did it." And other people was like, "No, don't kill her." Like,
dang, I can't imagine her trying to go see that movie. Like, she would have had to been in sunglasses and that.
She watched. I think she watched it at like certain screenings. She watched it multiple times. She said 'cause she was like around other crowds' reactions. Yeah, that's the Get Out spoiler review. My niece about to come in this, guys. I'm sorry. Keep pointing this out here.
Yeah. Also, I did notice this because I did go see it in theaters twice. When I went in my college town, you know, it was a younger group of people. When we saw it, everybody was more like involved, like interactive with the movie, like out loud. But whereas when we went to go see it, where did we go?
Oh, out in Leewood.
Yeah, I guess it was an older crowd of people, and it wasn't so much as any laughter. Like, I don't remember nobody laughing at any of the parts. You were the loudest person in the theater, the only person that was laughing. I don't know. I guess it really depends on where you go see it.
Like the scene where he's telling the police officer about the sex slave or like that. Like, I thought that was hilarious.
Like, nobody was laughing though.
Like, I thought he was so serious about this. I thought it was hilarious. So to this day, that scene still cracks me up.
But when I went in my college town, everybody was, you know, into the movie. Like, I don't know. I guess it was just the younger crowd versus the older crowd. But.
And this movie did bring a lot of conversation, though. It was a really good movie because it brought up a lot of conversation, got a lot of people talking about a topic that a lot of people don't want to talk about. A lot of people want to kind of rub over and don't watch it or talk about it at all. So because of this, do not avoid this movie because you think it's gonna make you feel uncomfortable. Literally go watch this movie. If you sat through the spoiler review and we explained it horribly wrong, still go watch it because we did not give this movie justice at all. It's just the way the sounds and the way the movie worked.
It just left you with conversation. Like, you know, when you go see a movie and you're in the car afterwards, it gave you something to talk about on the way home.
Yeah.
Whereas some movies, you really can't do that. You might talk about it for maybe 5 minutes. Okay, we're done. But this movie was something that you could talk about the whole ride home because it gave you that many topics to talk about, that many controversies to discuss. So.
And I thought it was a great movie. Man. That's it for the spoiler review. Thank you guys for watching this whole thing. Sorry for the interruptions and all that stuff. But thank you guys for watching the whole thing. I really appreciate it. And Get Out. That was it. Definitely go get your hands on this movie. Definitely go watch it. And see you on the next episode of Movie Showdowns. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Talk to you later. Hey guys, if you're watching this episode on YouTube, please give it a thumbs up if you really enjoy it. If there's a comment or there's a topic or something you want me to talk about in the future, please put it in the comment section below. Also, please click on subscribe if you want more videos of Grind Towards Success or Movie Showdowns. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And lastly, you can follow me on Instagram here. Follow me on Snapchat there for more daily and motivational tips. And you can watch the next episode of Grind Towards Success here or the previous episode. Or you can watch another episode of Movie Showdowns here, which is my movie review series. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. And see you in the next episode. Keep being awesome.